Guess what time it is? It's time to put this stuff in there. Goal is to use everything that you would get from a full kit order on what?
On bagriders.com.
Ooh, plugged. This is everything you would get when you order a kit from bagriders.com. Get ourselves a power kit, upgraded OB2 compressor, some other power kit stuff, fitting pack, 3P management, and that air tank. And that's all gonna go in here. But what we're gonna try to do, we're gonna try to make it look as factory as possible. So what we're gonna do is hide the management in the spare tire well. We're gonna weigh this thing. All right, we wanted to weigh this thing before we did it. We got these scales that we don't ever use, so we need excuses to use them.
All right, we just got the scale set up. I have no idea what this car weighs, but Taylor and I are gonna make some guesses. He probably has a better idea, but I'm gonna go like 32.49.
37.50.
37, oh that's a big gap. All right, let's find out. Focus.
There it goes.
Here we are. 33.25, and that's with how much gas in it?
Like a quarter tank, or gas light just turned on last night. So now we know how much it weighs, and what are we gonna do next?
We're actually gonna install the air management now.
Yeah.
All right, so you guys have put everything on the table.
Yeah.
That comes in an air ride kit.
Yeah,
so let's go through it, talk about what someone's gonna get in their kit and where it goes. Why is it important, and why did we choose it for this setup over other options?
I'm gonna be frank here and forthright. Yeah. The reason we chose this was because this is what you get when you order a management package on bagriders.com. This is like the bare minimum that you need to do an air ride install. I'm a little bit different, and I like to just do something different every time and try new things. But I think it's valuable for us to show how you can install everything you need, and it doesn't need to be beautiful. It doesn't need to be like a work of art. It just needs to be functional. And so this is the purely functional setup.
So this is this is not a crazy hard line. This is not.
Yeah, so the beauty of Bagriders is that when you order a management kit off of our website, you're gonna get everything you would need to install your management, your struts, everything from start to finish. The only thing that you might want or need, you don't necessarily need, is this MDF.
Yes.
Which you can go and get at Lowe's or Home Depot for like 15 bucks. I think this piece was like 12 bucks. It's 3/8 inch, I think. Pretty much everything you need here. We got the tank. Obviously on bagriders.com you can do different tank setups. And the reason we went with the face ports is because we want this backed up to the bumper on the inside of the trunk as much as possible. And we're not even gonna use these parts of the tank, and we just wanted it to all face the rest of the management. We went with the OB2 compressor, which is pretty much the equivalent to like dual 480s.
Correct,
I think,
yeah.
or even better.
Yeah. We ended up going with the Airlift 3P management. We'll do the basic setup first, and then we'll install height sensors later in another video.
Yeah.
So that comes with everything you need. Wiring harness, this goes from the front to the back of the car if your battery's in the front. 1/4 inch air line, this is 60 feet. This should be enough and more some, which is nice. Yeah. The manifold.
More some.
Comes with a water trap, SMC. These are awesome. They just upgraded.
Yep, and we'll put in there'll be little notifications in the corner when we talk about certain products. We have tech videos that break down the differences between these. So we have a whole video covering water traps, so you can go check that out if you want to see sort of the breakdown of all the different options.
The controller, this is not wireless. This has a cord in the bag. It does have Bluetooth, so if you want to use it from your phone, that's possible.
You can see the cord. It's also in the back of the controller there.
We offer a range of different power kits depending on your setup, because whether or not you have a single compressor, dual compressors, or more of a high output OB2 compressor, you're gonna have different loads on your electrical system. So it's important that you have things fused properly and have the load distributed properly. So we give you a thick, it was 4 gauge, I think, 4 gauge wire. You can either run this from your battery if you're doing an install all the way in your trunk and your battery's under the hood. I generally like to have this as like a standalone wire for management only. So I would run this from the battery all the way to the trunk. And then that way, you don't have to run your whole harness through your car. And yeah, everything you need. So we have these fuse holders, which are general ATO. I forget what these are called. I'm pretty sure they're A&L fuses, because then there's mini A&L, which is similar and it's just a little bit smaller. We give you a second fuse holder for the OB2 specifically, because you're gonna wanna put a standalone 60 amp fuse on this. Well, maybe we missed something. If you think we missed something, or there's something more specific you'd like us to talk about, leave a comment and we'll either comment back or make a video, or do both.
Yeah.
We're hoping to hear from you guys. We wanna put stuff out that you wanna see, not what we think you wanna see. So I guess first thing I like to do when setting up the management is kinda lay everything out where you think you might want it, and then talk about it, figure it out. If you're installing by yourself, it gives you some sort of visible reference as to where everything's gonna lay out. So let's start with that. So I think what I want to do is, there's a little bit of space in here where I think we can hide the tank and still retain use of this foam piece that has really convenient spots for all this stuff that I think we want to keep.
Yeah, yeah. Look how excited he is.
It's like a kid on Christmas.
But hey, this piece is probably like 30, 40 bucks from Subaru.
We should probably look it up first.
We'll wing this one.
So I think I'm just gonna I'm gonna try to stay on this line first, go from there. Because this is this pocket here, kinda.
Do you want to do the measurement and make sure that the tank does?
No.
All right, perfect. No measurements.
No.
Love it.
Ah, look at that. That's pretty good.
Look at that.
Ah, look at that.
All right, that's what they say.
Let's see how we're looking. Oh,
Ooh.
that's pretty good.
It looks pretty flush over here at least.
Does this void the warranty?
I don't know.
No, we're gonna have to do a lot of cutting. But yeah, I'm thinking
that's gonna look sick.
I think we cut the rest out.
That's what I mean. I think we clean this up a little bit.
Because it just has to look clean from the top.
Agreed. No, I like where this is going though.
Yeah. I'm gonna work on making a template for the MDF.
That's good.
So we're trying to figure out what we want to cut out. Right now, we already committed to this. I say, use your best judgment in cutting this out. So what I'm trying to accomplish here is make something that cooperates with the curvature of this spare tire well. And then that way, we're working within the limitations of this, and it's a good way to do it without like guessing and checking on the MDF and wasting a bunch of MDF.
All right, progress update over here. What have we done so far?
We're looking good. I nicked her just a little bit up there. Didn't really want to do that, but
That's okay. That's okay.
still work.
Got a hole in the bottom of it now.
Yep.
So we can look at each other when I'm locked in the trunk. The manifold will go here, tank will be over here.
Got my template. I verified that it's the correct size. This is the most rudimentary template you could ever do because I'm not doing anything complex. I used the template to figure out that I could have just cut a square the whole time, which is sweet. You know, not always this easy. So what I'm gonna do is just, I'm not gonna trace this on here because this is just cut with scissors. I'm just gonna use the dimensions. Nice and square. That's why I went to art school.
Learned how to draw my squares. Oh.
Can't walk through the board, so bad. Stuck with the right shit.
Oh, look at that.
That's it.
Hell yeah.
Simple as that. Most of the time, you just cut a square, and that's all you need.
You put a square in a circular hole and it works.
So we're just trying to figure out where we want to lay things out. There's a little bit more to this setup. I gotta be conscious of where we're gonna drill this hole. So I might do that next. I'll show you guys a little trick because you can't see the hole where it is right now, but there's a little something you can do to find it. close enough of an imprint.
Yeah, right there, right there.
But that is our spot to drill.
There we go.
How you do that? All right, let's test it. Pretty good, close. That was pretty perfectly low right there. So we need to like add another piece under it on the corners.
Should we use something rubberized to absorb any vibrations?
Or you know what we could do? Just put a spacer on the bolt that we put in there.
Yeah. I'm into that.
All right, Wilson's jacking up the car. What are you doing?
Wilson's jacking up the car so that you can remove the fender liner on the driver's side and find a way to run the power from the battery. I'm working on making the MDF base fit a little bit better and more securely, so.
As you saw, they're just the corners have a little bit of wobble to them, so fix that. Fix the wobble.
While he's doing that, I found some foam, some like sticky backing foam. We'll just rest the corners of this base plate on. Hopefully that makes us happy with how secure it is and noise and all that. Ow! Workplace abuse.
All right, Taylor's in the trunk, fixing the board, making sure it sits right. Wilson's in the fender, taking out the fender liners, getting ready to run cables, power, everything like that through. Making progress.
It's the first time I've never not just butchered yanking the fucking thing out.
Oh, look at all the room for activities on there.
Yeah, that's exactly.
That works so well.
We're getting somewhere.
Hey, it's bolted down. Look at that.
Just trying to figure out how we're gonna orient all this stuff. Figuring out where compressor's gonna live, manifold's gonna live, we know where the tank's gonna live, and we could also remember that we're putting like power distribution stuff here, so. But the big thing is just making it all fit into very confined space. This is where if you take the time to think about it, think about what other stuff you're gonna install, it pays off in the long run. It's far less frustrating. It's kind of like the same measure twice, cut once mantra. So that's the idea behind me standing here staring at it looking like I don't know what I'm doing. So, because most of the time I don't.
But I will say this is a very, very important step to make sure you do it right, because if these come loose, it sucks. Yeah, and to cut this stuff.
Best way I've found to get these is kind of get a good idea. You want the wire to be coming through it a little bit, so mark it with your thumbnail. Careful not to cut yourself.
Usually the twist like you're doing now helps a lot.
A little bit of a twist. And you put it on.
And we're only going to do one side of each wire for now.
Yeah.
What it does is show them that beautifulness.
There, she's crimped. Put a little piece of heat shrink over the end of it. It's done.
Cool. And let's do the ground. And then we can shove those through.
All right, what are we doing?
So we're gonna go through this little jam right here. There's tons of space in it, and it doesn't pinch when close
Okay, I can show it on this side.
So if you look right there,
Right there.
nice grommet, no holes, and it doesn't do anything when you shut the door. So
Perfect.
what we're gonna actually use is we're just gonna use a little piece of wire, tie the two together real quick, twist them, and this actually came in the kit, so it's not what its intended use is, but
Can be used, or you could just use some wire you have sitting around.
pull on that a little bit there, Finn.
Oh yeah. Oh, there we go. Look at that. Keep going.
There we go.
There we go. Look at that.
Zip tie it to the other lines, but
There we go.
simple enough. Now we have power. And yes, we did get cords that match the interior.
Color match everything.
Yeah.
Match.
Yeah.
These need to run all the way back. Most cars have a harness that already runs through the paneling in here. It's hard to tell, but there is a harness in there, so it's easy to just run your cables and your power right alongside that harness so that you're not having to cut holes or run anywhere funky. Zip tying these in place so that while we're pulling on all of the wires and routing everything back, we don't end up losing the connection point that we need there. Alright, so cables are routed pretty much the whole way back. We're starting here at the battery. We decided to go up and under through the fender liner just to keep it clean. You can go over, you don't have to spend the time to route everything below, but then it comes through right here in the door jamb.
Yeah, we'll make that look nicer.
It'll look clean, no problem. Yeah.
And then comes through the firewall real nice, tucked under there,
Under all the way.
Close.
And then it continues, tucks through here, and then we have it coming back underneath where the rear seats would sit, and through the back. So yeah, so this will all be tucked in a little bit better. We're just not hard locking anything in until...
We don't need to run this to the front anymore, since we already got our power on ground. But we will have to wire this, and this is the ignition. But basically you want to power this to something that isn't on when the car's off. This is honestly the hardest part of every install, in my opinion.
The best first spot to look is cigarette lighters.
Yes. So to test if it works, take off that, and we have voltage.
All right, so there were no fuses in here that really were gonna work for us. Everything in here was pretty much like conditionally on and off, and we don't really want that. So we're going to the second fuse panel.
Let's go for the cigar first, the 10 amper. I think this might be the winner.
12.5. Going up. And the doors are open.
Keyless cars suck dick.
What's up? We're on day 2 here, the install of the management on the Rasty.
The Rasty.
Rasty.
Could be a good plate name.
Because it rusts, it's a Subaru. It's an RA, STI. You put those things together, Rasty.
Adds up, she's Rasty.
She's Rasty. One winter, I guarantee you, Rasty as fuck.
Well, what could be the car's name? We don't have one yet, so.
Rasty.
Rasty it is.
The least original name I could ever come up with.
It works, I'm happy with it.
Yeah. Yesterday, I finished up doing the wiring. I mean, it's not my best work, but I was trying to do it with whatever we got out of the boxes, and no special things that I like to do. Butt splices, inline fuses, and zip ties, and no shortening of harnesses, which is pretty cool. Plumb the air tank. Run the ignition wire, run air lines to all 4 corners, run the controller wire, and then the management's done. So, oh, and then we gotta connect the power and ground to the management, but that's easy. I'll work on that. So, yeah. Before I help you, Wilson, I'm gonna just do all this. All right.
It's always such a rat's nest to actually having to pull it through. But I'm trying to get it under all the other wires just so that it looks a little bit nicer and less likely to get caught up on some stuff.
All right, Wilson, you're getting somewhere.
Yeah,
you made it past one cushion.
Yeah, so I'm gonna leave this separate because I'm gonna try to go under this carpet, follow this wire right here, and then land up in the middle of the center console. Taking this out so we can take the center console out.
Nice.
Try to run that cable wire. I have no idea. Take a bunch of bolts out and hopefully they go back in the same spot.
Yep.
Or we can forget some to make it lighter, so.
We don't focus on air ride. We focus just on weight reduction.
Yeah.
And then air ride second.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Oh, very nice. This honestly was pretty easy. What we can do now is get a clothes hanger, push it that way and yank it all the way through so we can bring it up to the front.
Good tech tip.
Now I'll get a clothes hanger to try to go under the carpet. Tape it like that, and then yank it through. Now I'll just try to pull it through the front.
Oh.
Perfect.
Success. There it is. Basking in its glory up front.
Yep. All right, let's try this.
You got it? Sounded pretty confident pretty quick.
Yep.
Hey, oh, there it is. Controller and ignition. Ignition's down here. Wilson's gonna find something for it.
Probably shouldn't put it all back together before we test it, just for the fact that if something does go wrong, then we gotta take it all back apart, but I'm pretty confident. Put that in. Now the controller's good, and we'll probably end up stuffing more of it down there and pulling it out if you want, but it can sit in there, and we're gonna try to find a controller mount of some sort.
Oh, that would be slick.
Now just the ignition wire.
Cool. Worst part for last, right?
Yep.
Taylor's currently tidying up the management. He's zip tying everything together that should be. And Wilson.
Yep, I'm gonna find an ignition source again.
Your least favorite job.
Yeah, it's
Much exciting.
not very fun.
He's feeding it somewhere. I can't see where it's going.
Oh, dude, that is the money right there.
Did you find it first try?
Or today's first try.
Today's first try.
Oh, dude, sit.
Dang.
That was easy.
That was easy.
So what we did is we were looking through, this is the fuse panel. We tried the 12-volt plug, that didn't work. The cigar, and then we actually just tried the IG1. I'm assuming that has something to do with ignition, but I don't know, it worked. So now we're gonna put a fuse tap holder on that guy. So that fuse and that little gold piece, if you can see it.
Yes.
What that does is goes on your fuse like this. It's a little slot. Push it through and it sits like that. That way you're tapping off that ignition.
Oh, very nice.
And what this fuse does is help prevent that fuse from blowing so nothing ever goes wrong.
Okay, cool.
So then we'll push this in. So that's in. Now we just need to crimp this to this. And again, make sure they're tight, do the yank test. Nothing's coming apart.
You done yet?
Yep. Just gotta plug it in.
How we doing, Taylor? Where are we
good.
at?
Everything's buttoned up. We are ready to fire this thing up.
Feeling good about it?
Yeah, quick install.
Yeah, it was a quick
Relatively
install.
quick. I mean, we started super late yesterday and kind of dragged our feet a little bit, but you know, pretty much from like start to finish. Pretty much, I would say set aside 2 days for an install at least for management, and then another day or two for suspension. If you really wanted to bust out an install on a weekend, you can do it. Obviously, it's easier when you have friends, competent friends that know what they're doing. You can trust them to go off and do stuff and not hack stuff like Zach.
Yeah. Thanks, Wilson.
Talking shit about me?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Tons.
Talking positive shit.
Oh, thank you. I like positive.
Yeah. What's up?
We good? Connect to the battery?
I think it's ready to rock and roll.
I just checked everything out. We're good.
Oh man.
So that's negative.
I think the confidence is high from everyone for this.
So if it actually feels like we've accomplished something.
I just hate doing terminals and you're jambalaya in it. The compressor didn't turn on yet, so that's a good sign.
Hey!
And bingo was his
Can I
name.
just pull this up?
Oh, so she's kicking on. That's a good sound.
All right, so there you have it. We got our management installed, and we're gonna move on to a little bit of finishing touches. Say that's how you install management relatively quickly and correctly.
Yeah.
Is the most important part. But next time,
Installing the suspension, so look forward to that.
yeah. Oh, you know, we didn't run airlines, but we'll show you that.
No, but we successfully did not drill a single hole, so
Yeah.
we're doing a pretty damn good job in my
Yeah, we
opinion.
haven't drilled a single hole in this car. We've got to run airlines, but we'll do that as part of the suspension because it's more vehicle specific.
Be sure to like, comment, and subscribe for the
what
next
he
video.
said. Yeah, do that stuff. Sorry about not wearing back riders gear, but
Got some up top. Buy that hat.
I gotta buy this hat.
Buy that hat.
Don't buy that hat.
Don't buy that hat.
You can buy this sweatshirt, support some homies.
Hey, you can buy that stuff too.
You can buy this and this.
Yeah.
Hell yeah.
Buy it so we can do more cool shit.